Well, I've got a few items that you might want to hear about having to do with the election. Some things you probably didn't see in the mainstream news. So I'll be right back and we'll talk all about it. Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and I've got several little items that I think you might want to see about elections. So let's get going. First of all, if you didn't get a chance to see the RNC tonight, the second night on Tuesday, you really need to see it. Okay, I did enjoy Monday night, I think a little bit better, but Tuesday night was very good too. And it ended very nicely with FLOTUS there and President Trump supporting her and everything. It was really a nice ending to the night. But there were several that said some really good stuff. I had a little connection problem at the beginning, so I wasn't as into it maybe as I was the other night. But Monday nights was spectacular if you haven't seen that one. But tonight was very good too. Anyway, let's get into some things because according to this researcher, he said so many C-SPAN callers calling in right now saying, used to be a Democrat and love the message tonight. Yeah, you know, because when you call into C-SPAN, they have like a different number for Republicans, Democrats, and independents. And so you call that number so they know which ones they're getting. They try to get like an even number of them. And it was very interesting how a lot of them were saying that. So just something that you don't normally hear. But I think there's a lot of people who are really resonating with this particular message that America is a land of opportunity. That was tonight. Last night was the land of promise. And really, this is the part of America that we all know and love. And this is the part that you can see people wanting to hold on to. And the Democrats did not deliver that kind of message at all. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because I thought that was very interesting. Sometimes people don't watch C-SPAN, you know, when it comes to these things. I don't like it because I don't like their player. It reacts badly with my computer, I guess. They don't play nicely. But at least with C-SPAN, they were playing it through without any talking heads interrupting. So I thought that was nice. And this was something afterwards that they had people calling in. So kind of nice. I'd like to go watch it if I can. So then I wanted to share this with you because Donna Brazile had a big meltdown on Fox today. Evidently it was this morning when it happened on Fox and Friends. And oh man, they asked her what her reaction was to the first night of the RNC. And she went ballistic. I mean, really, she wouldn't shut up. She just kept. She was arguing with Tammy Bruce and she just couldn't even stop talking. And they were just trying to, you know, have a discussion, but she couldn't stand it. She hated it so much that it was such a wonderful message and she had nothing to rebut about it because it was so very positive and so very pro-American that she couldn't say much about it at all. But, oh, she just thought, see, she said they were speaking to the choir and, you know, that it just was out of touch with ordinary Americans. No, I don't think so. In fact, most of the people that spoke on the first night were ordinary Americans. And she was talking about they ignored racism and, you know, that's all they want to focus on. And I'll tell you, it got so bad between them. I'm not going to play it for you, but if you want to watch it, here it is. But here's Comey in the middle, and he's just trying to stop him from talking. Donna would not be quiet. I mean, she wouldn't stop to give Tammy any chance to respond. And this is a tactic that you're going to see the left use a lot. When they don't really have an argument, they just talk over people. Because they figure if you can't get a word in edgewise, they're going to win the argument. See, they have nothing to win the argument with, but they just keep talking. When I was working with the online biblical counseling ministry, the pastor always told me, he said, well, when they start calling you names, you know they've run out of argument. And that's pretty much what happened here. He had a hard time getting them to shut up. Well, you know, Tammy was just trying to make her point, But Donna, she was not having any of it. And, I really think Fox News made a huge mistake in hiring that woman. I don't think she has added anything to any broadcast. Now, I'm not at all against having Democrats, on the show, because you do want to get both sides. You want to be more fair than the left-wing media. But the problem is with her, we know who she is. And we really have no respect for her to begin with. And every time she has to make it into some kind of big argument where she essentially bullies her way through things. And really, bullying is a huge tactic of the left. If they can't get their way, normally they'll bully their way through it. So anyway, I'll leave this down below and you can listen to the arguing. I mean, it's just they're talking over each other. Comey's trying to get them to stop, and it's just not happening. I mean, she just goes on and on and on and on. So I have enough of that sometimes, and I don't want to deal with it. This one I thought was pretty funny by Brit Hume. Down here, Lisa Bloom says, Rose Garden crowd, no masks, no distancing, as 1,000 Americans die of COVID daily. And so he says, who wants to tell her that everyone at the White House is tested daily? Not to mention that the event is outside where COVID-19 is much less likely to spread. See, that's what I was thinking too, because to get in there, they would have to be tested. And if they're testing positive, believe me, like Louis Gohmert did, they're not going to make it in. So the only people in there are people that didn't test positive. And if they didn't test positive, they're not going to be able to spread the illness. So you can't. They don't even think anymore. It is so mindless about these masks. Don't get me started on that, because I'm really ticked at our public library right now. So, yeah, they didn't like my rebel mask, which I'm working on for a crochet thing. Yeah, I know it's crocheted. I know it doesn't really do anything, but it doesn't do any more or less than a regular mask. And at least with that one, I can breathe. But we had a little go around at the library. So anyway, I've got this one right here, too, that I wanted to share with you. Ohio Republicans draft articles of impeachment against GOP governor for coronavirus restrictions. I'll tell you, some of these people are just getting power mad. They like I said, with my library. Okay, here's the deal with our public library. We have a really good public library, okay? Really good. But of course, when everything happened, it stopped totally. You know what they did? They went in and took every single stinking chair out of the public areas of that building. Every chair. There's not even one to sit. I mean, they've got plenty of room. They could spread them out easily more than 6 feet apart. But oh no, we're not going to do that. And you can only go into the library for half an hour. You can't stay any longer than that, because we don't want people in here giving us the illness. And, I'm not real sure exactly if that's my taxpayer dollars that is paying them to sit there and tell people they can't come into the library more than half an hour. But it's not making me happy. But it's just because the mask doesn't do anything. They say they have to have it because the governor has said we had to have them. So they're not just going that far. They're going further and making it more restrictive because they have the power. And this is the problem that I think we're seeing in a lot of places, that because they think they have the power, they're enforcing it even worse. And this is the situation. Really, not one chair in there to sit in, and you can only stay a half an hour. So you have to run in and grab your stuff and go, I guess. I don't know. It's just a little frustrating to me on that too. But anyway, that's my life. I'd be interested, if your library, tell me what your public libraries are doing, okay? Give me the comments. I'd like to read them, because I want to know if this is standard or if, this is just my particular library being a little crazy about it. Anyway, so this is the situation. There are 3 Ohio Republican lawmakers that are trying to impeach the state's governor because of how he handled things. They're not happy because they just say unconstitutionally closing down businesses and violating civil liberties and due process by implementing stay-at-home orders. And that's what they're going to try. I don't know how far it's going to go or anything, but DeWine has been a little bit of the dictator there in that respect. So I'll leave this article down below if you want to read more about it. I wish them luck. I don't know that it'll go too far, but I do wish them luck with it, because I think some of these governors need to have a wake-up call as to what they did and how they handled things. This particular article right here is about Comey, and of course, after the RNC barn burner, that was last night, they called that the barn burner, which was really good. Comey has to come out and do a 1-minute thing here to try to persuade people to vote for Joe Biden, because Joe is such a man of integrity, and we need a higher calling than Donald Trump. Oh, he didn't actually say higher calling, but that's what it made me think of. This man thinks he walks on water. It's just disturbing. So anyway, he gave his little pitch right here for it. So they're upset because it went so well. That first night was spectacular. I mean, just incredible. If you did not watch it, seriously, I sat down when I was, a lot of times when there are long periods of time that I'm watching something, I have to stop it a few times and get up and stretch and walk around a little bit. That's why I like watching it through my TV with YouTube, because I can pause it. And even if it's a live stream, I can do that. So it's really nice. So, I thought, well, okay. And I started it, and honestly, I loved every minute of it. It was just like, wow, that was a great speaker. Ooh, that one was even better. Oh, man. So there are lots of great speakers, and a lot of them are just regular people, contrary to what Donna Brazile thinks. I don't think Donna Brazile knows real people. Well, this is an issue that's probably going to be bantered around for a while, because they have a House panel is going to investigate Mike Pompeo because he gave a speech at a political rally, a political campaign convention. So they're going to try to say that he's violating the Hatch Act. However, I have read that they did consult lawyers before they scheduled him to do this, and that evidently the RNC is paying for part of that trip just because he was over in Israel on business for the United States. So they're going to put in some money that compensates for the time that he spent talking on the RNC. I mean, it was a good speech. It wasn't fantastic, but it was a very good speech that he gave. He was giving more of the perspective of what's going on with safety and everything with our country, and how President Trump is trying to make us all safer, both internationally and nationally. And I think it was an important part of what they're laying down here. I mean, you can kind of see that the RNC has a plan as to the story that they want to build on. And I think that was an essential part of the plan, showing how President Trump has addressed the international issues as well as the domestic ones, at home that he's working on. So I think it was important, but the House, the Democrats are going to go ballistic over it. They already are. They're trying to claim that he violated the Hatch Act and whatever else. So if they didn't have something to sue about, they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. So yeah, pray for Pompeo right now, because he's going to get reamed. But he already knew about it. Like I said, they had already addressed it. They had raised the question earlier. And according to the one article I read, it said that yes, Pompeo has already addressed it with lawyers, and the lawyers said it would be okay. So we'll see what happens there. It's going to be interesting. Now they're going to try to impeach Pompeo. The House. They want to impeach everybody. So, impeach Barr, impeach President Trump, impeach Pompeo. Oh, they just want to cause trouble. Anyway, Ratcliffe here is talking about national security threat posed by China includes election interference. So, while the Democrats are trying to say, oh, China's not a problem with our national security, with our election interference. Oh, no, not China. But it appears that, yes, China is a problem, and we know that because we know that Joe Biden has ties to China. And what's really funny, I was watching Louder with Crowder earlier today, and they were fact-checking, CNN's fact-checking. It was pretty funny. And CNN had this fact-check that it was about China preferring Biden. And they said, well, yeah, that's not necessarily true. It's that China doesn't want Trump to win. Well, excuse me. If China doesn't want Trump to win, that means they're preferring Biden. So it was just kind of crazy what they did. I thought it was a weird set of things. I'll see if I can find that. I think they probably put it in as a Crowder bits, so I may be able to find the video on it. By the way, if you don't know, Crowder's YouTube channel was remonetized. However, they're in the same boat I am, where if they talk about anything that has to do with reality right now, that's considered controversial content. And so it gets demonetized. So, yeah. Anyway, it's just kind of funny. By the way, this video, I'm going to try not to get it demonetized. But the next video I know is going to be, so I'm just going to bite the bullet on it because it's going to deal with Mr. 17. Okay? There's some interesting stuff that's been developing on that, and I want to point it out to you. So anyway, this was an interesting article. And then Ratcliffe at least is aware of it. I'm very happy to hear that. And, he says here, China poses a greater national security threat to the U.S. than any other nation, economically, militarily, and technologically. Ratcliffe said that includes threats of election influence and interference. So, yeah, China doesn't want Trump in there because Trump's going to make them, adhere to these deals that he's been working on. And you can say what you want about Trump, but boy, he's a master deal maker. That's for sure. So anyway, this is a good article. And then there's this one about the Flynn oral argument, and the transcript was released for that in case you want to read it. Evidently, one of the justices, I think there were 10 of them total, and this Justice Griffith was one of them, and he's going to be retiring. So if you want to read the full oral argument transcript, it's right here. And if you want to watch it, or well, it didn't, here it is again too, if you want to see it there. It wasn't a video, but it was audio. And so here's the audio of it, which I think it's 4 hours long, they said. I have not heard it yet. I haven't had time, but I hope to. I'd like to be able to do that. So anyway, there's the transcript, and that link will be down below so you can access the transcript too. So it's 171 pages long. So yeah, it is kind of long to read, but if you got the audio going, it shouldn't be too bad. Well, let's talk about Kamala here, because Kamala evidently has a little interesting connection in India. Gotta kind of wonder now if this is why Trump went to India, if he knew some kind of connection here. Very interesting. But evidently, see, Kamala's family is one of the high caste families. And if you don't know about India, they have the caste system where people are basically on different social levels and you don't move from one social level to the other. And the highest caste, one of the highest castes is Brahmin, and her family is the Brahmin caste. So, yeah, it says here, the Brahmins are the highest caste in India's Hindu system. And they have, they're reviled by many for their sense of racial superiority and the associated benefits they enjoy in Indian life. So, that not only that, but Kamala's uncle is a top consultant to the government of India and has worked for a group funded by India's military. So, what's his expertise? Nuclear weapons. Kamala's uncle's work for the Indian government should be considered a national security threat to the United States of America. And this is the Anand's version of it, but here's the actual article if you want to see that. And there's that quote right there in it. So, yeah, there they are. Interesting. Just wanted to point that out to you because that could be a major factor in things. And maybe that's why Joe Biden picked her. Because India has some deals with China. It says that down here. So they had some deals here. So I'm wondering if maybe somehow, this is kind of a back door to allow China in to the United States and making deals with them. I don't know. Read through it, see what you think. And I just think that it's really odd that, this guy is a nuclear weapons expert and he's connected to India's military. Just sounds like could be trouble. And the last thing I want to share with you, this is a short video, okay? But the last thing I want to share with you is a couple of digs by the researchers that has to do with examples of mail-in voter fraud. And this is a great resource, folks. You need to go through and look at these because they have a bunch of them here. And they've collected them all, made it really nice because it has, the links to them you can click on. And here's a second one where they put more, lots more. So, this is a good resource. Share this with people because there's even another one down here, folks. Yeah, there's more. See, this one's got a lot in it. It's great. So anyway, these are really good to hang on to when people are saying, oh, there's no such thing as voter fraud. Yeah, bring these out. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I hang on to these because, wow, that's awesome. They did an awesome job here digging. So I really appreciate these guys. They are really, really on the ball with everything. And here's the small channel of the day, If You Only Knew. And they currently have 40.9K subscribers. So let's see if maybe we can boost them a little bit. Got some good videos down here to look at and watch through. And remember, when you click on the subscribe button, then you got to click the bell too. And when you click on the bell, make sure you click the all, because if you don't do all, you're only going to get a hit and miss type thing. And with our channels right now, it's more miss than hit. So make sure that you check that and check it often because YouTube likes to unsubscribe us and to unclick bells for us. So just kind of keep an eye on that. But anyway, yeah, go through, look at a couple of the videos, see if it's something that you think is a channel that you want to follow. I think he has some good stuff here. So there you go. That's the small channel of the day on this one. And I can't remember who mentioned this to me. I kind of lost track of all the comments that people were suggesting channels. I may have to institute something different. If you have a channel that you'd like to suggest, I want to keep them under 50,000 or at least thereabouts. So if you have one that you want to suggest, maybe if you put a hashtag channel, and that way it'll pop up in a different area. So it's easier for me to find those. It'll be where I have to approve them. So I'll see those easier. And it'll be easier for me when I want to find them later on. So I can't remember who it was. Thank you, whoever it was that got this for me and mentioned it because I think it's a good channel. So again, use your own judgment. Always look through it for yourself. See if it's somebody you enjoy. And some of it has to do with personality. You got to like the personality of the person on the other side of the mic. Because if you don't, it can be annoying, right? So anyway, that's what I've got for you on this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.